What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Again, my name is Patrick, and today, a special podcast. We're located in Houston, Texas, over at Midtown Motor Trends, and today is a really awesome experience. We're going to be talking to one of the best successful people in the industry, Mr. Mike Norng. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so for the people that don't know, possibly might not know who you are, why don't you give us a brief once over of like who you are, what you do, where you're from, things of that nature.
Yeah. My name is Mike Norng. I'm the owner of AFS and Midtown Motor Trend in Houston, Texas. And we're in the window film and PPF and ceramic coating business here in Houston. And what else?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. How long have you been in the business?
Since 2005.
2005.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And we're at one of your three locations, is that correct? Okay, and then where are the other three locations?
Well, I mean, that building is in the back is AFS. This is Midtown, and then the north location is AFS.
Okay, AFS. And for people that don't know, what does AFS stands for?
Automotive Film Specialist.
Okay, excellent. And then we do window tinting, we do paint protection, we do what else?
Ceramic coating.
Everything.
Detailing, yeah.
Okay. Did you start off window tinting? Did you start off PPF or?
I started off as we own a detailing car wash in 2005, and then in 2006, I got into paint protection film. The reason why I got into paint protection film was when I owned the car wash and detailing, we didn't make money when it rained, and if the weather is bad, it was slow. So I was trying to find another source of income to make up for those days that we make nothing on detailing in the car wash. And that's how I got into paint protection film in 2006.
Nice.
And then 2008, well, we always did window tint, but I always sub it out. In 2008, I was kind of forced to be a window tinter because the guys I hired, we just had issue with them, and I just went out for a whole year to learn window tint, and I became a window tinter.
So the quality of installations just wasn't to your par.
No, it wasn't more that. It was just dealing with the installer and not showing up or having personal issue that they bring to the shop.
I feel like that's like a constant reoccurring theme within the industry. It's like you have these talented guys that can tint really well, but like that's about all they have in their life because they show up with problems, they steal, they lie, they don't answer the phone, they show up on time. It's like, and that's one of the things that like one of the goals throughout the channel as well is just to be able to bring up the industry, being able to make it more professional, make more quality people that are going to be out there that can like really take this seriously and make this a career for them, and kind of weed out because sometimes some tinters, they do get a bad rap. When I first joined the industry brand new, I was like, it was almost like tinters were like one step above like that slicked over used car salesman guy, you know what I mean? Oh, we'll just put your windows in, and blah, and then but after over the years, definitely I can see how like it can, if you bring in the right business mindset along with the craft and the trade, that you can really like leaps and bounds separate you from your competition. It's insane.
I mean, if I didn't become a window tinter, I don't think the window tint department would be this successful, because at that time, just me not being a window tinter, I didn't understand what a window tinter life is. So now, since I'm a window tinter, when I hire guys or train them, it's easier for me to know everything that they go through. So knowing that what they go through, it make it easier for all of us,
Right, absolutely. A team effort.
Yeah.
Okay. With all the locations together, how many employees do you have?
Probably a little over 20.
20.
Yeah.
And some installers, some in-house, some front of house, some back of house.
Almost everything is in-house. We have a few guys that we subcontract, but most of it is in-house. The detailing department have a pretty big crew, and then the film department have a pretty big crew. Okay. So it's like almost 50-50.
And the guys that are doing like the window tint, do they do the PPF also? And
no, we try to keep our window tinter, and we try to keep our PPF installer. The combination of the two actually will, for me, I personally feel it will hurt your business, because you don't need somebody to switch back and forth. They just need to be a master of their craft.
Just focus on what they do. Okay.
I mean, unlike me, I'm really highly skilled in both, but then it was a separation in it. You're talking about 2006, 2008. I didn't try to learn PPF at the same time, learn window tint at the same time. That is what a lot of people that I see actually that do that. They're usually just mediocre installer because they pick up two. I mean, you gotta pick up one trade, master that trade before you go to another one.
I like that. Yeah, because people are very quick to get into diversification of their business and trying to bring in multiple sources of income and revenue. But I mean, you're absolutely right. Like you, it's hard to master a number of crafts at the same time, one thing at a time. So you think it is possible for people to master multiple crafts and be successful and good at it, just not all at once.
Yeah, I mean, just master it before you move on to another trade. I see a lot of guys want to be a window tint and PPF installer at the same time because it worked together. I mean, a car is coming brand new, they need PPF, they need tint. And they're seeing that they're losing that revenue, and then all of a sudden they jump into it. Sometimes you're jumping into something you shouldn't jump into right now, and you should sub out one side of it until you master it. By mastering it, you could hire an installer to take over that or whatever, that department, and then move on to the next one instead of taking two and doing it at the same time.
And making them subpar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I've been trained with PPF. Like window tinting is like my jam, right?
Yeah.
But like I've been trained in PPF, but like I've always heard that you need like 50 kits under your belt before you really start, 50 to 100 before you really start like getting an understanding of how the film works and how to clean properly and how to prep properly. And is that an accurate range, would you think, or?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you need cars. I don't think anybody that tell you. I mean, it's the same thing as window tinting. You need a bunch of car under your belt, but I don't feel because you've been doing window tinting for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It don't really matter. I think how many cars, just like what you say, how many cars you got under your belt, mean more than how many years you got under your belt. Because I see window tinter and PPF installer that tell me they've been doing it for 10-year plus, but if you're only doing one a month, that's not 10-year plus. I mean, we're doing
3 months,
like 4 to 6 a day.
Right.
And then,
right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, this is probably one of the first times we've been able to actually sit down and have a conversation. We're associated with a lot of people. We know a lot of people. We've crossed paths before. I mean, we know each other, but we've never actually sat down and have a conversation. Your persona, your presence, especially online, on Facebook and in the YouTube area and online content, it's big money, big presence. That's what I'm feeling from you. Is that something that cultivated through the expansion of your businesses, or is that something that's always been a part of you?
No, I just see, I kept a lot of secrets of what we did because I learned all this on my own, and then I have guys that always ask me to help, and I'm always helping. And then I just saw, just by me like going to the local bar or hanging out with guys, and they asking what I do for a living, and I tell them I'm a window tinter. And the thing is, the way everybody look at a window tinter, we're like $99. We only worth $99. And I was like, no, I'm on a whole nother level. I'm charging $1,000 plus a car. And then I was thinking about it. All these guys in my town and everywhere else, I could help them increase and have a better life. And I see that with my own guys. To see that I hire somebody that make like $350, $400 a week, and I could pay them over $1,000, $2,000 a week. And I saw that improvement in their life, and I want to do that same thing to everybody else. Because improving their life will improve our industry and everything else. And especially in Houston, I think it's going to be very important that we raise up the industry here, and especially in my own town. I see guys that help, but they won't help guys in their own city, and I feel like if you're going to help, you should help everybody.
Everyone. It doesn't matter if it's here. I mean, that's one of the main reasons why I started this channel, is because when I started back in 2015, Now I haven't been tinting long. I'm like on my 8th year right now so far, and but I went to try to go to these other shops. I'm like, listen, I want to learn the craft. Teach me. I'll be there with you. I mean, I understand. You know, you got to get your money back out of me. I'll stay here for a little bit afterwards, and then we can decide. Like, I don't know where I'm going. I want to go do this path. I mean, everyone I went to told me no, absolutely no. And they're like, but they were all 1-2 man operations, 2-3 car garages, and they all were like, well, no. As soon as you learn the craft, you're gonna leave, and you're gonna go ahead and start your own thing. And that's why I started doing this channel. It's just because I wanted to be able to teach people how to do the things that no one else wanted to show. I mean, I was getting like death threats when I first started, because like people are like, don't you show people the craft, and you can't do it.
Yeah.
One thing that I did notice is that when you're like, I feel like increasing, like you mentioned, you're someone making $400 or $500, and then you can be making $1,000, $2,000. I feel like that's something the industry has been behind on, whereas things in the last 20 years have gone on exponentially. You know, pricing and charging and cars are $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 more than they were 20 years ago. But like, I feel like window tinting and pricing in general has just been a slow creek crawl, and people that I feel that aren't as business savvy are all racing to zero, trying to get, you know, they don't bring the value up, they bring the dollar down just to make it, and then they battle each other. And that's why I find what you do so interesting, is because you take an industry that and I want to say most people, but like people are just kind of just getting by and just kind of paying their bills, and they kind of run a car shop and stuff like that. But like, I mean, like you said, you're doing cars for $1,000, like, and you're doing high end stuff, and you're making great income. Like, someone that wants to do that, is that something that you do right off the rip? Do you start it slow and low, build up clientele, and then eke your prices back up? Is that going to bite you in the butt? Like, what is a good path for someone that wants to end up on your success level?
I would tell them, take all the training they can, visit workshop, attend all this seminar, conference, anything to educate yourself, and then on your spare time, always work on your skill. I mean, to be a good installer at whatever you do. That's number one, what I would start off on, because for me, it took me a really, really long time to get to making this kind of money, just word of mouth. But if I would have did it properly and paid for the training from really, really guys, one thing about training, you don't just pay anybody for training, guys. I know guys are training for, you know, $1,000, 3 or 4 weeks. 3 or 4 days. I highly recommend that you research and on who's training you, if they're successful, highly skilled trainers, a successful businessman that is an installer. I see a lot of people that's opening up training facility or giving advices that shouldn't, and that's where you gotta be careful at. A lot of people are listening to the wrong person. So if you want to speed up and go from 0 to 100, make sure you pay for the proper training. Go to the proper facility to get training. Go to the conference and everything. There's a lot of education out there that'll help you sell window film, because there's two sides of it. There's the installation side and the sales side. No matter what, you have to spend a lot of time in both, and you'll speed up. Because I feel if I could have did this in like probably 1 or 2 years, but it took me a while.
Took you a while.
Yeah.
But you're there now. You're there now. And that's the thing too, is like you said, the proper training, and always learning. Because I feel like the second you're done learning, or you think you're like, oh, I got it all, we're good, I don't need it anymore. Like, I feel like that's where you start to decrease, because there's always new tools coming out, new cars being worked on, new techniques, always new film. I mean, like now we have like like these high-end IR films that, like, I remember 5 years ago they just came out with ceramics, and like who knows what they'll come out with in the next 10 years or whatnot. So I feel like the industry is always going. Sales, you mentioned the installation. I think a lot of people strive to get that, become a great tinter, become a great installer, or at least be great for them, right? And that's a very relative term, right? Great for me might not be great for you, and all over the place. But business-wise, I think that's something that definitely is a missing aspect that some people don't realize or don't know. I talk a lot about Martin Fowler, a guy who's never tinted windows. He went and got training at the tint school in Florida. He did it in August, or he did it in July, and then he filed for his LLC in August, and he hit the road mobile since then. He's a far fluke between, like, it doesn't happen, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, usually you have a couple years and then they start mobile or they work at a shop. What are some things organizationally for your business, tips that you would give people that maybe are solid in the installation portion, but they need that jump so that they can start bringing more cars in and more quality cars and being able to sell more higher end tickets? Like, what are some tips that you would give for people?
I personally feel like you should work at a shop for like 3 to 6 months before you go off on your own to open your own business. I don't see a lot of people being highly successful of learning window tint and then just go off on their own. I think you should work under somebody so you could know about the cars, know how to do the car, and when you know all about that, you could explain that to clients how you do the car. I mean, if you're going to protect the car, and you get to see somebody else's operation on how they sell their window tint. Presentation is very, very important if you want $1,000 window tint. I see a lot of guys tinting that just, get up from bed and put on a pair of jeans, some sandal or something like that and start tinting. So that's going to be very important for you to see somebody else's operation and see it for like 3 to 6 months before you go off and try to open your own business. The reason why I say that is because you could turn this into a 7-figure business, especially with all the IR film, and you're leaving money on the table, a lot of money. And the reason why you're leaving a lot of money is because you didn't see somebody operation that was successful, that they're getting $1,000 window film. You're wanting to get into this business, and all of a sudden you're charging $150 for tint because you wasn't educated or trained properly that you could get $500 to $1,000. So you need to see somebody that actually get that kind of money, that do that kind of service, what kind of clientele they're doing. They're getting, and then you can duplicate that and almost duplicate that in 3-6 months. But you need to spend 3-6 months with somebody. You
think it's important to be an employee, be there so you can get immersed in everything, especially if you don't know anything of the industry.
Yeah.
Now, some people are just not the type of people that own a business, right? Like me, I have a very entrepreneurial drive within me. Same with you. But some people are just tinters. Yeah. They just want to show up, get paid, do their job, and leave. Not worry about any of the overhead, anything like that. For people like that, what do you think that they should be looking for within shops? Because I've personally been in some shops where I was guaranteed this much or that much, and then when time comes, like, oh, not this week, maybe next week we'll do that, and next week, and then 2-3 weeks later, you're like, I'm not even getting paid the minimum that you told me. And so, like, what are some red flags and some things that you should be looking for if you're a tinter looking for employment, and but you want to work with a great outfit?
If you are looking to be an installer for a shop, there's a lot of red flags. So if you go in there and the first thing y'all do is go ahead and tint the window, I'm gonna pay you $500 a week, and that's a red flag already. Because a proper business structure, no matter what business you do, there's paperwork you sign, W4, W9, whatever. You'll see a structure on how they handle installer or even salesperson or anything in their company. You look for those structure. When you see those structure, people, business owner like myself and other business owner that run a successful business, we have a structure. A lot of window tint shop don't have structure. So I totally understand. Like, I see it from both sides. Like, the business owner is cheating the installer, and the installer is cheating the business owner. It go back and forth. It's actually your fault, and it's actually their fault too, because you should pick that up. That is a red flag that they don't have a process in place. So if they don't have a process in place, whatever y'all talk about is just hearsay. That's that's what I personally feel. Because if you come over here, we're gonna give you a 2 weeks 2 weeks training, and then see if window tinting is for you. And if it's not for you, I mean, we tell you that up front. If it's not for you, then we'll know within the 2 weeks.
And is there maybe something more available down the trough? I mean, if not tinting, is PPF an option? Is detail? There's something that you can fit them within the organization.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I've always been a fan because I worked for other shops for 5 years before I went on my own. And I went on my own just because, for personal reasons, I wanted X amount of dollars, and I just couldn't find it. And I did very well. Like, for me, I was getting paid $75,000 a year working for someone that's going in, tinting cars, and leaving all day long. And I'd say that's pretty good. I know some people start off at $1,000. Some very few people will be at like a couple thousand a week. And I've always been, my pitch when I go into to an establishment and said, this is what I want to do. I said, I determine their average ticket, and I determine how many cars I can do, and I do an annual gross, and then I cut that by about 75 or 25%, just because you're not going to fill the 100% of the time, and then that I try to go for a third of that, right? So let's just say, for example, like I can gross $200,000 a year, right? And let's just say I bring it down to 75%. That means I can gross $150,000 a year. So I would be walking in there asking for $50,000. $50,000 to me for the installer to get the business done. $50,000 to the business to feed the beast, film, lights, things of that nature. $50,000 to the owner, right? It's his risk. It's his business. He should profit from it. And I've been very big on that factor, right? Do you think that that's an accurate way to portray maybe someone's earning potential?
We operate differently, and every tint shop operate differently. If somebody come and want to get hired from us, we actually pay a guaranteed salary against commission. Whichever is more, my installer always make more commission. But just say during Christmas and New Year, we kind of close that week, and they still make their guaranteed salary, and everybody's happy. What commission wise, a salary against commission do that I love is, no matter what, he's always gonna have his bill paid with making the lowest that he can make without working, getting more cars. But the guys that want to work more, they actually make more. It's limited. Like, if you want to make $150,000 tinting window here, you can. But you'll be working a lot longer because the cars are there. That's what I like about the salary against commission, because you determine your own paycheck. But no matter what, that's a guarantee.
There's a base.
Yeah.
And is that like basic salary week after week, no matter what? No matter if there's 3 days, there's 2-day vacations, whatever it is, once a week there's a base salary.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that something that they should, as a window tinter, they should have something like that in mind and try to? Is it poor form to try to negotiate, to go back and forth, to talk, to try to find a happy medium, or should someone just be like, I'll take what you're giving me?
Oh no, we don't have no negotiator. That's what every installer. But I know for a fact that what we doing, there's a lot of shops around the country that do it, and they're all successful. I seen the guys that make hourly pay, and I feel like hourly pay is bad for business owner and employee. It's bad probably for a business owner, because the guy could be juicing the clock when he could pump out 10 cars for you. You'll make more, and he'll make more.
Right.
And then the guys that's making hourly, he'll just give less effort, because he's, no matter what, he's gonna make the same. If he finished that car in 1 hour, he could maybe finish it in like 45 minutes. What entice him to finish it in 45 minutes when he's not gonna get anything extra?
There's no extra. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's the happy meeting of being able to try to take care of people, but also continue them to motivate. Like, what is the reason? Why should I work more? Why should I work harder? Now you mentioned commission. Do you guys do 30% of whatever your gross sales, 20%, and then whatever the larger your base or the commission you take home? What's a fair commission rate for you?
So our commission rate is 20%, And that's touchy because a lot of people will tell you they get 30, 35, 40. So when I started in 2008, I was paying 35% commission. But 35% on $125 isn't shit compared to 20% of 500 to 1,000. There's a whole different level. So yeah, because you're getting 35, 40%, but what is the average ticket? Our average ticket is over $500. But what is the average ticket? Because if you're getting 35, 40% on a $100 to $200 ticket, that's not much. And so they get 20%, and it just entices them to work hard. I mean, the way I always look at it is 20% of a watermelon is a lot better than 50% of a grape, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. I think that's right, because you shouldn't be you shouldn't get too much on the percentage and be like, well, what is the end result of that percentage? You're absolutely right. 35% of 125 is peanuts compared to 20% of 1,000. And you're like, oh, well, we got to do the math on this for sure. Oh, man. Do you feel, and this is more, the podcast is more because you're so like in depth with the business and the presence and the money and being successful. This is why I'm picking your brain.
I mean, the goal is to make your installer successful too. Because if you go outside into a parking lot and look at my installer, they're driving Mercedes, a Tesla, a Dodge Challenger, brand new Camry. I mean, just changing their life, just their personal life will make your life easier. I mean, especially for the business, because you don't want your guy to drive a broken down truck and every day there's an excuse. I popped my tire, or I need to get something wrong with my transmission or my motor. You don't want to do that. You want to go ahead and make their life help make their life successful too. And if you can't do that, I don't know. I mean, that's gonna be kind of hard, because you won't be living a good life yourself. Yeah, I mean, as a business owner, you won't be living. There's no way to live a good life if you're an installer or your employee or whatever, team member, whatever you call them, whoever that you write a paycheck to. If they're not living a good life, you're not living one either.
You're stressing about them, or they're gonna show up, or they're this, that, the other thing.
Yeah.
Oh, do you ever have issues? I guess I don't know if it's an issue or not. Let's say an employee, very good employee, been with you forever, making top tier money. And they're like, listen, I love what I do, but deep down, I want to work for myself. I want to be my own boss. Have you ever come across that, where an employee was just like, I want to go on my own and I want to do this, and do you have bad blood with that? What's your strategy with that? Because that tends to happen. People get fearful. Like, you take in this guy and you love him like your own. You spend more time with them than you do your family, you know, and they want to leave. What's your take on that?
I actually love that. I'm very supportive of that. That come across, and then I'll just say, I actually will help them on it, because there's time to grow. You can't keep them forever. At least you could support them. I mean, there's a few guys that have done that, and they properly said, Mike, I want to open my own business. I want to do this. I mean, the first thing that come out of my mouth is, how can I help? I mean, it's time for you to go to live your own life. I mean, you've seen this. You can't keep nobody forever. They're not yours. So your goal was always to help them grow when they're with you, to make more money, to buy a better car. I mean, the same thing apply when they want to grow to be more, own their own business, and you're supposed to help them, and you're not supposed to hold them back.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I mean, I know that I would go to businesses. I've only did it once, but like, I went to a business and said, I'm looking for more money. I want to do this. And I gave a plan. I'm like, listen, I can increase revenue in the automotive department by X amount. This will justify, I will take care of all of it. This will justify my increase in pay that I'm asking for and looking for. And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well then that's okay. But you know what? I'm outside your market. I was driving like an hour to get there. I'm like, I'm outside your market. I'm going to start doing my own thing, just because this is what I need to do for myself. But I felt like I should have kept my mouth shut, because then, like, the dynamics of working there was different, right? They were cutting me short. They didn't give me a lot of time. They're like, oh, that's, we're closing for a day. Tough, and so, like, for those of you that are owners, I mean, take a piece of that right there, just because you do. People get upset and they're like, oh, I spent so much time and money and invested in stuff to you, but it's like, it's true. I mean, if someone's ready to go and someone wants to go do their own thing, I mean, they're not yours. You can't hold them forever.
I mean, the thing is, we have what's very important. What I don't see in the industry very much, but I see this in a lot of big time 7-figure shop, is they have a training process. So either they have an in-house trainer, they have they sub out their training, or they have online training, or whatever training they have that available to them at all times, and that's what helped them be successful. So no matter what, they'll always train another installer or something. And then the guys that rely on you and they don't know how to do it, business owner, and they don't have a training facility, and they're posting almost every 2 weeks to look for an installer, they have not solved that part of their business yet. So you are a problem for them, but internally, it's what they've been fighting. Like I seen guys been fighting that for 20 years.
Well, they just can't find installers. That like that's.
They just going through the same cycle, but they never solved that. So they never saw that as a problem, which is a problem within their company, that you have to have a training resource inside your company. Either you're gonna train them yourself, like I said earlier, or outsource it, whatever, and you could train somebody from ground up, or you could train somebody that only have 6 months to a year experience. But you have to have that within your company to be successful, period.
Continue an ongoing training program.
Yeah.
Because people will come and go. It's like high school. I always say it. It's like high school teams that put all their talent in the varsity, and then they have 2 or 3 great years, or probably 2 great years, right? But then after that, because you didn't cultivate any growth within the within freshman and JV to go to varsity, then they end up choking. They're superstars for a year or so.
That's a good one. I like that.
You like that? You see that?
Because you have like football, you have Team A, Team B. And Team A will always be better, but Team B is trying to get to Team A, so it's always a cycle going on. It's pretty. I mean, you have to have the same thing for your company to grow.
You have to have some sort of training and growing structure, for sure. Well, it's been a quick 30 minutes, and I really appreciate time. I know you have a flight later on this afternoon, so Mike, before we wrap it up, go ahead and you can take a look at this camera right here. For people that want to know more about you, where they can find about you, you do trainings too, right? You do PPF trainings and other things like that. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you, where they can get more information and everything? Ready, go.
Okay, so our Instagram is where I usually post a lot. It is Maopod Station. Is the Instagram is MAOPODSTATION. I'm always on Instagram. We have an online PPF training called autofilmmastery.com. I used to go out and train all the time, and it got to a point where I'm always booked out on something. And so we created the first online PPF training that teach you intro, advanced, and then ongoing with the install, elaborate, and on demand. That's about it, yeah. Beautiful.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us today. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you very much for taking your time out of your day to watch this video. If you guys have any questions, concerns, shout-outs, criticisms, whether on Facebook, YouTube, wherever, make sure to hit them down in the comments below if you guys like this stuff. Again, on any of those content platforms, make sure to the thumbs up and the likes and everything else like that. We appreciate it, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you.